Hi, it's Lisa Honnold, founder of parentingdigitalnatives.com. I am a parent educator for positive discipline and a certified life coach. I'm also mom to 3 tech-savvy kids, almost 15 years now. I am passionate about keeping kids safe online, and I want to have a conversation today with Claudette Chenevert. She is the stepmom coach, and she works with stepmoms who are struggling to create a cohesive family life. Claudette is a master certified step family foundation coach who helps stepmoms build and create strong and healthy step families by helping stepmoms focus on what they want as a woman, a partner, and a parent. She has over 29 years of experience as a stepmom and 35 years as a mom. Claudette, welcome.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, I am so excited to talk about our topic today, which is, do you spy on your kids? I can't wait to dive in.
And I'll start off by saying, yes, I do, and I'm not apologizing for it.
All right, let's hear more. Define what you mean by spy.
And it's an interesting question because I asked this on Facebook.
Yes.
And so spying, right, for me was just checking up on my kids pre-internet, pre all these new apps, making sure they were safe, they weren't into anything illegal, not appropriate. And so by me using the word spying, it was mostly to check up on them to make sure they were safe. Obviously, not everybody agrees with this. My husband never agreed on it, so it was a very difficult task because he hated every time I would snoop or spy on our kids, and I said, I'm doing it anyways. So.
And spying has so many different definitions. I was talking to a mom yesterday who said, I have actually thought about putting a spy recorder on my son's phone because I'm really worried about him. I want to be able to pick up any conversation wherever he is, in whatever room, if he's at a friend's house or anywhere. I want to be able to push a button and hear what he's saying. And I froze because I had never thought about that application of, wow. It feels really invasive. It feels really embarrassing. It feels like you're not going to get the content you want unless you're listening 24/7. How are you teaching? What are you teaching your kid at that point? What are you teaching them? You're teaching them, I don't trust you.
Yep.
I don't respect you. You don't deserve any privacy as you're growing up. You're teaching them all the wrong things. So yes, spying means different things to different people. And I have to run from what she said yesterday because that just feels wrong.
And so in that context, then I wasn't spying because, you know, there is some privacy boundaries. It's important to give some space and to teach our children to be responsible. Now, one of the moms I was talking with used the word monitoring, which is so much better. And I think when I talked with my husband about this yesterday, he said, yeah, I feel more comfortable about the word boundary. So I should say monitoring.
Yeah.
And so I think what happens is, you know, it's a question of reframing some of the words because it's true. Spying has a very negative connotation. And when you shared what you just shared, my heart was like, oh, yeah, I don't think I would like that either. Yeah. So, and if I'm talking about stepmoms or step-parents wanting to monitor or spy on their kids, or vice versa, moms wanting to spy or monitor on their kids while they're at their other parent, this can create a whole lot of havoc for everybody, not just the kid who you're monitoring, but the entire family as well, because it's an invasion of privacy everywhere.
Yes, right? Yes. And the parenting unit needs to be aligned before that happens. Going back to spying versus monitoring, spying to me means the child doesn't know that it's happening. And you and I had a little pre-talk and we agreed that the child has to know, and they have to know why. They have to know that it's because we want to teach you about safety. It's we want you to stay safe. And we have boundaries around what's appropriate and what's not.
Exactly. And I was sharing, I have a 15-year-old granddaughter, and so I'm her grandmom, and we're checking on her. Her parents are, her stepmom is, but it's exhausting, right? It's a full-time job of all of us making sure she's safe. So I have no idea, and I know we talked, and so you have some great advice and tips to help us understand what can we do, because spying, monitoring, whatever you want to call it, we need to be doing something so our kids are safe. When my kids were teenagers, we didn't have all these apps and phones and all this creepy stuff going on. And so it was just a question of going in their room and checking, make sure stuff wasn't there, that they didn't have the stuff that wasn't supposed to be there. Today, they have their phone, and there's so much going on phones. Like I have a hard time understanding half of it anymore.
First, kudos for you and the village of people that are raising your grandkids. It's amazing that you have as many adult eyes that are watching and that are able to see what's going on without interfering, without being that person who is right in the middle of everything. It's our job as parents. If my child is on Instagram, I need to be following them on whatever social platforms they're on, not because I'm going to comment every day, but because that's my job, to see what they're doing, to see who are they talking with, and excuse me, know a little bit more about their life. It's invisible. This behavior is invisible unless we have a window in. And that's where I want to take the conversation. I've found a product that I wholeheartedly believe in. The app is named Bark, like a dog barking, B-A-R-K, and it monitors my child's behavior online in a way that's not invasive. First, my child knows that it's on their phone, it's on their device. Second, I only get screenshots if there's something that's deemed potentially inappropriate, and I can set the level for what that means for my family. If there is blood in a picture, if there is some sort of message around suicide or self-harm, or there's a cyberbullying threat, there are about 6 things that they look for all the time, in pictures, in words, in acronyms, in all kinds of ways. Wow. And I get a screenshot of that particular conversation. I've heard parents say, I'll just take their phone every night. I'll just scroll through their phone. And oh my gosh, would that be exhausting? I have 3 kids, and they have multiple platforms, and no way, just like if I'm recording conversations, no way can I listen to all of that and go through and feel like I'm an effective monitor. I like this platform because it's using artificial intelligence. It's using AI in a way that is helpful for a parent, and it only notifies me if there is a potential problem.
I love that, because there's a way of respecting the privacy of our children or the kids we're responsible for, without being naive and thinking they're not going to go anywhere. Like, I know my granddaughter has several profiles, but what is it that prevents that doesn't make me believe she doesn't have a third, fourth, or fifth profile? I mean, you can create as many profiles as you want, right? So how do I find out about that?
Absolutely. How do you know that your monitoring is complete?
Yep.
Without either going through her phone and trusting that what you see there is accurate. And I'm going to tell you, it's not always accurate, because there are apps that kids can download that look like they are a calculator, but they're also a secret vault for apps that parents don't want their parents to see.
Wow.
So there are all kinds of hiding spots that kids now know about if they're not supposed to have an app, or they're hiding a profile. There are ways to do that. In the instance of Bark, they have the child log into their accounts, and if there's an account that's on their device that Bark doesn't know about yet, it sends me a text saying, hey, I think you forgot an account. So I feel like it's a really complete solution for the apps that it's monitoring.
Wow. I think this is amazing because, like I said, we try to stay very abreast of all the new stuff, but I know there's no way. The kids are faster than we are.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so there's no way for us to, and I mean, I'm talking about my granddaughter. So imagine, you know, their parents are busy than I am. So I'm sure they may not have the time to go through all of this. So how do you, where do you get the Bark app?
I'm going to put a link to this conversation because I have a special code that gives people 20% off. You can go to bark.us. I'm going to give you a special promo code though, so that you're saving money. It's a subscription that you pay for monthly, and it covers the whole family. At full price, I believe it's $10 a month. It covers the whole family. It is well worth it. I'll give you one example. New Year's Eve this year, my family of 5 went to the Space Needle. I live close to Seattle. We went to the Space Needle and had a great time, big party outside, lots of pot smoking. Like it was just strong in the air. And I didn't think anything of it. The next day, my 12-year-old is on his computer, and I get a notification from Bark that said, you may want to look this over. So a little screenshot, my son had gone to YouTube, his source of information, and he typed in, what does marijuana do to a human body? Great question. I didn't know that it was time to have that conversation. I've had it before and he hasn't been ready to hear me. But that day, because of Bark, because of this AI system, I was able to walk over to him and say, hey, remember last night with all that smoke? What did you think of that? What were you thinking? I mean, do you remember those people? And I just started a conversation without him needing to know how I knew the information. That wasn't the important part. The important part was I was connecting with him right when he needed it. And I wouldn't have known to do that.
And that is brilliant. I love that it gives you opportunity to open the door for conversation, whether it's marijuana, alcohol, sex, you know, or suicide, bullying, any of those. It opens an opportunity to start a conversation without actually telling your kids, hey, you know what? I saw you sneaking. Yeah. And, you know, because then you're breaking the trust.
Shut down.
And they're shutting down. They're not trusting you. You know, it's not just a matter of spying on your kids because you're breaking the trust. You're preventing your children from, you know, having an honest conversation about very difficult and challenging things that are happening. And so if you have the ability to have these kinds of questions that come up because of Bark, then you're opening up the lines of communication, which brings you closer together rather than pushing one another. Going underground, as you mentioned, with all the apps that are hiding, the calculated one, which I had no idea about. But if you're able to, you know, open that line of conversation with your kids, then they will trust you with more difficult conversation. And so I think having Bark as an app to help you facilitate this is a great solution.
Yes, it's my belief that parents should be the guardrails. And between the guardrails, we should be giving our kids quite a bit of freedom so that they don't feel like they need to rebel, so that they do feel like they have significance and belonging in the family, and they have some control over what they're doing with their free time. However you define that in your family values, whether it's an hour of screen time a day or you have a different way to define it, it's important for us to remember we are the guardrails. And if we're not paying attention. If we have no way to monitor the situation, the guardrails are now down. They're everywhere.
Exactly.
We don't.
Yeah, I refer them as having boundaries, right? Yeah. Like a fenced-in yard. No, a child will play in that yard and feel free and secure knowing they have that fence in that yard. But if they have no fence, they can go anywhere and they will push those boundaries. They will push those limits. And as a parent, it's our job and responsibility to say, no, this is enough. You can't go beyond the limits or boundaries that I set for you. And there's a reason for it. And so if you allow me to have a conversation and you trust me and I trust you, then we can expand those limits, those boundaries, or those guardrails, as you mentioned, and then we can work together to make sure that where you're going and what you're doing is safe. And then I'm not worrying about you. I trust you, and all the people around you are trusting you as well.
Yes, and the last point I want to make is I am not quite evolved to the point where mistakes are welcome, but mistakes are a great way to continue the conversation and say, this didn't work out so well this time, next time let's do something different. And if you get to the point where mistakes are a learning tool, I know a lot of my best learning lessons have been because I screwed up at first and then I found a better way to do it. And that's also a big part of a parent's job, is to recognize, okay, this didn't go well this time. Yeah. This is what I'd like to see happen next time. And let's
So, yes, so let me ask you, so how can we reach you and how can people reach you to find out more about your services, your product, and know more about what you do?
You can find me at parentingdigitalnatives.com, and I'm on Facebook, Parenting Digital Natives as well. How about you?
So people who are wanting to learn more about step parenting and dealing with step kids and security and boundaries, you can reach me at stepmomcoach.com, and you can use the hashtag #thestepmomcoach, and you will find me on Facebook, Instagram, almost all social media that I know of.
Claudette, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for bringing your expertise in today.
And thank you for bringing this such important topic for all of us to know and to take on and to share with our kids, whether they like it or not.
Monitor your kids, no spying, go monitor.
Exactly. All right, thank you.